Welcome back to Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon Anime Review, episode number 8. This I'm reviewing the last two episodes of season 2 and the second OVA of the series. Now, the last two episodes are adapted from book 8 of the series. And everybody thinking, wait, why is it that two episodes at book 8? Well, I think some book 8 was probably adapted for the previous episode, for episode 23. Last episode just covered the last book, and here's the strange thing about this book. I remember reading about it. It only had two chapters, two really long chapters that I kind of understand. Mostly it's just basically a character thing. There's no like major battles in this one. Nope. Now, Himue, she's the old friend of Meniko, child friend of hers who moves in with the Hestia Familia, and she pretty much works as the group's maid, and she's also a supporter. And you see her like doing laundry. Of course, Belle tries to help out, and he ends up picking up Hestia's panties. Yep. And of course, Hestia tried to initiate rules like no physical touch between male and female members, and everyone's like, You're just doing that out of pure jealousy over Belle. Like, okay, no flirting. Okay, fine. We'll flirt as much with Belle. And also, she tells the supporter that, oh yeah, your room is far away from Belle's. I'm the boss. You have to deal with. Yep. And they have actually a pretty good discussion, basically, of the relation between mortals and gods. And Belle's perspective is that it's impossible. And Hestia basically cries and runs away, and of course Belle goes after her. And he just happens to run into Hephaestia and Treadle. He's Meniko's former patron, and they have a discussion about this. And they do in fact have a romantic relationship with their own children per se, and it's perfectly acceptable for this to happen. Despite the fact the humans don't live very long as gods do, but yeah, it's perfectly acceptable. Matter of fact, Aristophanes is in love with Belle, and vice versa. The thing is, these two have never expressed their feelings for each other. Nope, they have a good discussion, and then, of course, Hestia just happens to run into the potato cart that she whatever two jobs she has, and had to do some loads. Like, man, I'm a goddess. Can I get some help? Yep, and she just happens to go to the city. And outside the city, we have Ares. Yep, Ares is in this series. And he's like how he's just depicted, a warmonger. Because that's how he's normally depicted. Except this one is an idiot. Though his armor looks very similar to that he's usually depicted in DC Comics, it's like the people who designed the costume for the series, it's like they're based upon the George Perez design, minus the cool helmet. And it's like based upon the design, and they also changed the color because George Perez's color for Ares' outfit was blue. Here it's red. And he wants to invade Aurora for some reason. And he wants to kidnap a god despite like he is one. And just by sheer coincidence, Hestia is outside the city. Like, okay, we can't win this battle. Okay, let's go kidnap a guy and basically force him to surrender us. And they kidnap Hestia, of course. Well, Belle goes after them. Of course, Ayn just happens to be walking by, and she volunteers to help out. And they go rescue her, no problem at all, though she does kind of get hurt. And they spend some time in the village for these two episodes. And they actually meet the village chief. And during the course of this period of time, basically, Belle finds out that this chief used to belong to Familia. Yes, a woman named Bridget, which sounds very odd name for a god or goddess. I personally have never heard of this one at all. And here's the thing. He was in love with her and vice versa. And she actually died. Yep. And of course, he later dies in a very sad and very well thought out thing. I got hands to the anime. They handled the scene really well. Ainz, of course, is seen in a different outfit. Yeah, it's only one of her... Now, here's the thing. Normally, you see her in this series, she's usually wearing her armor, or at least basically her under thing that she usually wears. This is the second time this series I've seen her wear a dress. Though basically wearing this girl that she's just like a typical barmaid. Because she has to figure out, it's like, fine. Belle basically volunteers to help out because he was asked by Hestia. No problem at all. Hestia, of course, got with a fever. Though, lucky enough that it turns out that Bridget was actually an old friend of Hestia's. She knows who Bridget is. And the thing is, it's also revealed that whenever people die and they go back to heaven, that it's a blank slate. They have no memory of their life prior to come back. And she basically kind of turns into Bridget. And it's kind of hinted at that Bridget might not only be her friend, maybe a distant relative of hers. Because they look almost exactly alike. Because she takes out her hair and just basically poses as Bridget. And and the chief is to pass peacefully. And he asks, like, because he can't have any children. It's like, what about this wonderful woman who claims to be your daughter? She's adopted. It's assumed possibly she's going to take over the duties of the village chief. And they go home. Well, basically, Belle and Hestia basically patch things up. And she understands why he said that. Because of how he was raised. That's simply the gist of it. And from his perspective, what his stuff basically told her, if in fact that Hestia is in love with him, he basically can accept it. This way, he may not feel the same way, but he can accept it. He has no problem accepting his goddess's feelings for him. Yep, it's a nice little moment, and they go back home, and it's perfectly fine afterwards. Yeah, kind of interesting though, most of the cast don't do much of anything except for Belle, Hestia, and Ainz. Yep, they go home, and, well, that's pretty much it for the season. I gotta say, 2 really good calm down moments, and of course people wonder, like, where the heck Belle is, but look, if you come back home perfectly fine. Of course, Loki is basically where Ainz is throughout this whole thing. Everyone's where everybody else is, but yeah, everything else perfectly dory. Everything's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's 2 really good episodes. And I heard one comment online, it's like, yeah, this makes total sense to do the end of this season and the previous season before that boss fight. Yeah, but these 2 episodes, really good. Next up is the second OVA of the series, which is, believe it or not, the most recent thing they released for the series. Is it wrong to go searching for herbs on a desert island? Yeah, believe it or not, that's actually, I kid you not, this is the name of the OVA. Now here's the thing. Cassandra and Daphne are coming back from gathering some stuff for their familia, and they have to go to a particular desert. They asked the Hestia family to help us out with while going to a desert island to gather some herbs. And, well, Hestia family goes along with Rio. Yeah, she decides to tag along. And all of the girls, now Belle's the one who doesn't, apparently Belle forgot his swimsuit, so he's just basically running around basically barefoot in his normal clothes. And we see their swimsuits. Now, first we see Hestia's. Actually, no, hers is not first. First is Memiko's, which doesn't look like much of a swimsuit anyways, but she's from the Far East. Yeah, I would have liked to see her in a better swimsuit than what she was given. Yeah, because she's hot. As for Hestia, she pretty much made her outfit out of her swimsuit out of leaves. And it looks like her typical outfit she normally wears in the series. But she does have a lot more skin. Lily puts on her swimsuit. And it's a one-piece swimsuit, though it's the same design as the swimsuit that Hermes gave her from the previous season. Actually, it was from the second OVA. Yeah, it looks like the same exact one, except it's a one piece with the same coloring, and the only kind of skin show from the thing is like cleavage, and that's it. For that one, they have Himare basically wears like a white one-piece suit, and she's very nervous about it. Yeah, Hestia doesn't like it very much, and of course the contest is basically which woman gets to spend alone time with Belle. The winner is absolutely nobody. Now, Rio, of course, does not put on a swimsuit. She doesn't. She does in the closing credits, and it's a very sexy swimsuit. But here, nope. And of course, there is nods to what happened in the last OVA, what happened in the previous season, this one. Yep. And right after the contest, they just happen to see somebody spying, and it's Ainz! How the heck she got there is never explained. And she has a mushroom on her head, and she acts completely irrational. Like, sea cucumber, gross, throw it to the sea, and she acts really weird. Yeah, she keeps her basically her top portion of her outfit she's not wearing, but she's got a grass skirt for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, they're here looking for the every flower. And first we have Rio to look for. She just strips on butt naked, goes to a lake, and finds it, and then she screams. And then we have Minako basically goes look for it, and she sees it as a hot spring. She strips down too, goes in, no problem. And then Will decides to go. Of course, he decides to put Slim Chunks anyways. He goes out, and he sees a furnace for some reason in the middle of a lake, which just makes absolutely no sense. I mean, why the heck would there be a furnace in the middle of a freaking lake? Yep. And then, and because this takes place after season 2, because everybody except for Belle basically acts like Belle, where he thinks, oh, Ainz has got a thing for Will, because of course Hestia basically lied to Ainz, think that Will was actually a lover. He really isn't. He has no interest in her at all. And he's like, you idiot. He's like, he took his girl, and he just runs over, and he falls unconscious. And he's unconscious the whole period of time. And then, with everybody affected, then all of a sudden, Ares, Apollo, despite the fact he's supposed to be, in heaven, and several people show up, and then it turns out it was all a dream. Dreamt up by Cassandra. Yep, and apparently she's been asleep for a whole week. Yep, and then the thing ends with Belle showing up, and he's got a mushroom on his head. Yep, a mushroom on his head. And then the door closes, and I think Cassandra screams, and that's it. I'm like, what was the whole point of this OVA for? I mean, it's nice to see the girls in a swimsuit. It's nice to see Ainz in a swimsuit, which I thought that was quite nice. But what was the whole point of showing... Now, I get maybe why showing Apollo and Ares. Probably because they were just featured in the previous season, so why not? They also feature in here Ishtar's former vice captain, who's also currently part of the Hermes Familia. Yeah, she pops up in here along with a few others. Yeah, they're probably illusions or something. It's not thoroughly explained. But I gotta say, it was a fun OVA. I wasn't really a big fan of the ending, but I like seeing the character Cassandra in the series. I think she's a pretty good character. As far as I know, she still appears. It's interesting, though, she joined this particular Familia, the one with the potions, instead of joining up with, Hestia. I think their services basically been welcome. But the reason why they decided not to join, because they're in debt. Yep. 200 million debt. I'm sure eventually they might join up with them. I mean, it'd be nice. I mean, I think these two were actually pretty good characters. I especially like the character Cassandra because, also the same name as my sister. Yep, and kind of like her counterpart from Greek mythology, she's also got visions. Daphne is a contradiction to her, basically, her mythology counterpart, where, you see, in the original Greek mythology, Apollo lusted after her, and he chased her for a long period of time. He's and he figured, okay, I gotta get her to get him to stop chasing me. So, what's the solution? Turning into a laurel tree. I am not kidding. That is literally what happened in the story. She turned herself into a tree. Cassandra, meanwhile, is, from the original Greek mythology, is the princess of Troy. And I thought it was Helena. Yep. Yeah, but not much else to say about these 2 episodes plus this OVA. Yeah, so that's it for this particular review. My next review will be a review of the movie. Yes, Ever of Orion. Look forward to doing that soon, because I'm almost on the movie. I'm going to do that soon. And after that, it'll be Black Clover. And I think I'll get time to do this. I'm going to start a new anime today, hopefully. And it'll be Sword Aurora, the spin-off series of this one. Excuse me. I'll talk about that hopefully today, discussing the first 4 episodes, right? But see you next video. Bye.